Warning, the Shekel Up Podcast is a podcast created by two ex-degenerates that think they know sports gambling and spent their younger days breaking bookies and never hedging. We are not experts on anything, and everything we say should be taken with a grain of salt. We do not condone illegal sports gambling, and all gambling should be done responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now enjoy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shekel Up Podcast, where we try to help you navigate the eternal abyss of the always stressful, mostly toxic, but very entertaining world of sports and sports gambling. I'm one of the hosts for this evening, Anthony.
And I am Hunter Keister, back here with the Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. Excited to get into these playoffs. Got a fun little show for you, a little two-piece instead of the usual three-piece. We're going two-piece for today, so let's get into it.
Yeah, we are going two-piece, the dynamic duo with more biscuits and gravy and a side of mac and cheese for you people, maybe some cornbread. That's what we're bringing to the table here. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. First thing I kind of want to talk about, because we talked a little bit about how the Bills traded away their draft picks so that way they can give it to their rival, the Chiefs. And, the Chiefs will be a lot more stronger now and keep kicking the ass of the Bills. And you know what great idea the Bills had to kind of answer for that, Hunter? You want to know? They said, you know what? It was so bad receiving core that the Bills traded away their pick to the Chiefs. That's how bad the Chiefs receiving core is. They gave up some future picks to trade up to get a good receiver. So the Bills said, hold my beer. Let me go get some hand-me-downs from the Kansas City Chiefs and go get MVS. That was the Bills' move there.
That's the response. I mean, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, for anybody that doesn't know his MVS initials, but this one is just as head scratching as they come. Like you said, the Bills help the Chiefs get one of the sleeper receivers, the fastest receiver in the draft, Xavier Worthy, to pair with that explosive offense. And, the Bills kind of remain quiet, don't really do too much, and end up trading with their rival even and helping them acquire that great receiver that will probably haunt them for the next couple of years. And then in response to all that, they go and get one of the former Chiefs hand-me-downs, supposedly stars of the Chiefs, turned out to be nothing, can't catch worth a damn, and now we'll join Buffalo.
Yeah, so they got a rookie and then MVS. That is the Bills receiving core for next year is MVS and a rookie receiver. I don't understand it at all. I don't know what they're doing out there. Apparently they're they're ready to sink their own ship. It's kind of almost what it feels like.
Yeah. It seems like they're going to be in full-on rebuild mode in 2 to 3 years with the way they're doing this offense. And Josh Allen won't be there much longer because he won't put up with this. Like, this is crazy. How do you expect him to come out and win? And then he's going to get torn to shreds when the Bills don't perform.
I don't know. We might be eyeing. I know that the Patriots went and got their guy in the draft, but, he might go, you know what?
By the time they realize he's not him, maybe Josh Allen will be ready to leave the Bills.
Maybe. I don't know. Speaking of leaving the building, Dan Quinn has left a lot of buildings, and he's in a new building at the Washington football team. The Commanders. Yeah, the Commanders. I almost said Redskins because here's why. I guess he's in a little bit of hot water, and I don't understand why he's in any hot water because he took a little bit of the old logo and combined it with the new logo. He put the feathers of the Redskins logo on the W and wore a shirt to a press conference. And apparently he's in some hot water. Are we in such a cancel culture age now that my man can't even wear feathers on a W?
Yeah, I'm going to get into this, and I'm probably going to have a little bit of a hot take here. And this is the stance that I take with this. The Chicago Blackhawks used the Native American Indian. And when they were faced with the same things that the Cleveland Indians were, they actually went out and got written permission from the native tribe that they used for their logo to say that they could still use it, and then it was to honor the Native American people. And So with that in mind, I think the shirt should be one in recognition of, the former team. For two, like, it's a feather of a Native American, which also shows a tribute and a head nod to them. I just don't see how this can be in anything bad. I mean, it's a new logo. I thought it was a cool little spin. I like this shirt. I liked it a lot, honestly.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I get the Cleveland Indians one, the Chief Wahoo. It's a little cartoonish, kind of the Redskin making fun of. Now, it wasn't intentional. It's just I could see the issue there.
I could see it if you want to make the argument. I could see it for sure.
But like with the Redskins logo and the Blackhawks logo, it's real design. Like it was always like more realistic looking.
Was the Redskin was even like the Blackhawks one is a little bit more cartoonish, but still looks realistic. The Redskins one was a real Native American.
Yeah, it was modeled after one.
And I don't get what this like. It's just I think the way the world is, and just the cancel culture is gotten just a bit too extreme for me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Speaking of getting canceled, I think Bronny's about to get canceled. My man went to the NBA Combine, and after being listed the last few years in his schools at being listed at 6'4", the NBA Combine, I might have said NFL Combine prior to this, so I meant the NBA Combine, because who watches that, right? Bronny's listed at 6'1". My man's been lying to the people the last few years, just giving himself 3 inches as if he's wearing stilettos or football cleats or something. I know 3 inches is a lot to fake. I mean,
man, that was gonna catch up. That was gonna catch up with you eventually, Bronny. And for it to finally come out now, a year before the draft, I don't know what you just said, Tony. You had a major cutout. I think we're good now, but you just cut out really bad. I couldn't hear you for a minute, but.
About the about the height. I mean, him getting really just canceled because he's a big liar. I mean, 6'4" to 6'1", cutting out those 3 inches. That's fine. I mean, I know every inch matters, especially in certain circumstances. But in this case, man, you can't lie about the 3 inches. People are going to find out eventually.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna finally get caught, and for this to come out a year before you're supposedly supposed to get drafted, especially going pretty high like they're thinking.
Well, he's going this year now. That changed. He's going this year.
He may go this. I thought he was considering it and may go back to college.
No,
Is he for sure going?
Yeah, because that's why he got measured at the Combine. He went to the NBA Combine.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
he got measured. So he's coming out this year.
And that makes even more sense because I was going to talk to you about a crazy report that I seen on social media either today or the other day. Somebody was trying to argue that the Atlanta Hawks should take Bronny James at number 1 overall. Citing things like the draft class being poor, and you would then get LeBron James on your team for the next season or two at least to play with Bronny. So that was kind of the report, and I kind of wanted to say, like, that's just absurd, I think. Like, I get the draft class this year isn't the best, and it definitely isn't, there isn't the biggest names like there was these last couple years previous, but man, for Bronny as a true freshman to come out and be number 1 overall literally just because of his name, because he didn't do anything to like warrant that in his 1 year at USC. He didn't do anything like that. So for him just to get drafted number 1 just off his James name alone would be expected almost, but then extremely still wild. Because I feel like there's some good talent up at the top of the board and still coming out.
Who we all know though who that team is going to get when Bronny joins their team. So really, you're drafting Bronny to go get LeBron for a season, maybe 2. I'm taking UConn kids before I'm taking LeBron James. That's my thing. If I'm rebuilding some of these teams, I'm not taking Bronny if it's not warranted. He didn't do all that well. I don't even think he started. So. Like you said, is that really worth it? He hasn't done anything that's warranted a first overall pick in the NBA draft. So no, you can miss me with that stuff.
And now he's 3 inches shorter than he was saying, so it's almost like he's gotten worse.
Yeah, you're drafting Bronny for the prospect of having LeBron and having them two play together and hoping that Bronny will turn into something later. You don't really know. You honestly don't.
Right.
You're a big college football guy. And they came out with the way that seeding is going to go for at least the top 4. And the top 4 is going to be the highest ranked conference champions, which means teams that aren't in the conference will get the 5 and below.
So like so that's big on Notre Dame. That's just quickly before you keep going. That's, I feel like, a NCAA ploy to already kind of weasel out Notre Dame to get him into a conference finally. Saying you have no chance to be a top 4 seed without a conference. So keep going.
And you know what? I might like that. If I'm Notre Dame.
And I was going to say, I think I agree with that because I've been saying for years, I mean, they're in the ACC in basketball. They play in the Big Ten in hockey and in a couple other sports. I have been big on Notre Dame football needing to join a conference. I get their tradition or whatever they wanted to cite before, but especially with everything expanding like it is, like you were getting ready to say, and I would say too, I like this. I like the move from the NCAA to do this to them.
Yeah. And even if they don't, you got to think, what are they moving? How many teams are they going? Are they doing 8 this year? Or is it, how many teams are they doing
12.
with the playoffs? 12. Okay. So you're talking, they're not even going to be playing anybody of merit, to be honest with you. They're going to be playing somewhere right in the middle. So they'll still get a home game. They're going to be playing 6, the 6th seed, maybe the 7th. So, I mean, I would rather do that than, I mean, it's not going to be awful. There's going to be really no difference in the team from 7 to 12. I mean, they're going to be bottom feeder NCAA playoff teams.
See, like, you say that, but it's like the drop off between what Notre Dame could be at 5 and the team that could sit at 7 or 8 right there.
Yeah.
Probably isn't too much worse than Notre Dame.
But what if their AP ranking is 2? Like, they're actually the 2nd team in the country. You know what I mean? Like, they're skill-wise.
How would they end up?
Well, because they're not, they could be AP ranked number 2, but because they're not in a conference, automatically drop down to number 5. And 5 is in a conference. Correct. Yeah. I'm sorry. So do you know what I'm saying there?
Fair.
So
no, I
yeah. If they're talented enough to be number 2 and they're playing the 7th seed, which is probably ranked 7th to 12th in the country,
that's fair. Yeah.
You understand where I'm coming from there?
They could be number 2. Yeah, I guess in that scenario, that would really favor Notre Dame in terms of, but I really think that the NCAA is just trying to think like big picture, and Notre Dame probably would be, if they're lucky, in that 3 to 4 range, and I think that's their ceiling. I don't think they're a top 2 football team this year. I think they're probably maybe like 4 to 6. So them already having to start at 5 at the jump of this 12-team playoff hurts them initially, I feel like. And I don't know if they'll get to the point to where it'll be like where you're saying, to where they're number 5, but they're really number 2 because they're not in the conference. They're number 5, so they're playing number 7. So they're probably gonna mollywop them. I see what you're saying, but I don't think they'll get to that point quickly enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And yeah, that's obviously wishful thinking. I'm thinking ahead, and who knows, by the time the season starts, or by the time this actually gets rolling and they do a 25 freaking team playoff, I have no idea what college football plans on doing, but they could have a whole, they could, you know how it is with recruiting, man, and this transfer portal now is just getting even more ridiculous with how skilled some of these teams are, so we don't even know what it's really going to look like. It'd be crazy. It'll be interesting. It's definitely a way to fuck the teams that aren't in the conference. And like you said, the NCAA has been after Notre Dame for a while to get them in a conference and not being one of the independent schools. And this is a good way to kind of go, you know what? You want the top 4 seed. If you guys are that good enough, well, then you know what to do. Join the Big Ten.
Yes.
Because I don't see them joining any other one. I mean, they're not good enough to be in the SEC, in my opinion. I mean, they're almost the typical. I even look at them right now as a team that is a Big Ten team. I know they're not, but that's just.
I would consider them Big Ten. I mean, that or ACC, that's pretty much the
Yeah.
predominantly the two conferences they play in when they do switch it up, like ACC basketball, like I said, hockey, football. So I would say Big Ten, especially with how it's kind of trending, I think we're ultimately going to get to a two-team or two super conference, Big Ten, SEC, and then everything else kind of withers away, or they're going to do something crazy. But I kind of see the Big Ten and the SEC being the cream of the crop, and I don't really see that's where Notre Dame should be. But I think they're scared. So maybe if they do join a conference, it'll probably be the ACC, I'd imagine, first.
Yeah, well, we'll see. In other news, the state of Nevada sides with the NFL when it comes to John Gruden trying to sue them for a unfair termination. John Gruden, shut up. Just go away. I'm tired of your Spider Y2 banana. All right. Monday Night Football doesn't need you anymore. Buck and Aikman is where it's at.
Yes, it does.
I don't need it. I don't need
I
John. What do you
love
need
John
John Gruden for? I know you love him, but what do you need it for? Buck and Aikman's good.
So he sued. So he sued for wrongful termination.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm okay? And he didn't. He lost.
Yeah, he lost.
Got it.
Yeah. So he's not
Okay.
getting he's not getting paid or whatever. I don't know what he was actually trying to get because his contract is going to be his contract. He's going to get his money. I really don't know what he was trying. I think he was just trying to be an ass. He's kind of a
Right.
He seemed on TV like he would be a nice guy, but I bet you he's a prick. Just in general, when you see him out in public, I bet you he's not a nice man. Like he seems like he'd be an asshole. This is my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea, but no. All right, so let's move on to the actual sports part of this podcast, where we're going to talk some NBA playoffs, and where I was completely wrong, I guess, with the Timberwolves and Nuggets, because the Nuggets come back and Timberwolves play like the Nuggets did the first two games. I don't understand it.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, the Nuggets coming into this, the last two seasons combined, 80 and 18 at home. So for them to drop two in a row in the playoffs was just so unheard of. And I thought Minnesota may be primed to get them out of here in 5 games. But now, I truly saw the series at the beginning as a 6 or 7 game series with how good these teams were. And then Minnesota came out and smacked him in the mouth. But now Denver's countered. And I'll give you a spoiler alert as we look to Game 5, which happens at 10:30 tonight. I'm on Denver. After the 2 losses that they suffered to get some momentum back tonight and get the win.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just going to throw up my hands. Timberwolves looked stupid dominant the first 2 games, and I didn't think they were going to be stopped at home. And they look really disinterested and making dumb mistakes the last 2 games. So Nuggets go back home, tie it up 2-2. But then who knows? Maybe the Timberwolves are just going to win this thing in 7 because they're going to beat the Nuggets in Denver. It's going to be
Anthony
backwards.
Edwards is very impressive. He's easily he's quickly became one of my favorite to watch in basketball. I've always liked SGA, being a Thunder fan, obviously. Anthony Edwards has quickly been one of those guys as well. Just an incredible guy to watch. Not a too bad of a person, so you don't really hate him like that, but just a really good basketball player, and he's fun to watch on Minnesota. So,
Yeah, and so I honestly don't know. We'll talk about the futures odds and all that when we get to that segment. We won't talk about it right now, but it's been very entertaining basketball. Kurt said last week that he's kind of back on board when it comes to basketball playoffs because for a while it was one-sided, and every series except for the Boston and Cavs is tied up 2-2-2. There's a couple teams playing tonight, a team playing currently, so that's going to change obviously by the time the folks hear this podcast. But on Tuesday, May 14th, it's 2-2 across the board except for Boston and Cavs. And I mean, let's talk about your Thunder. I mean, they're hanging in there. The Mavs are hanging in there. I think the Mavs would be doing a little bit better if Luka was healthy. I don't think he's totally healthy. And I'd like to just backtrack real quick.
He's definitely.
Go ahead, just real quick. I forgot to mention with the Nuggets and the Timberwolves that the series itself, Timberwolves are now underdog at plus 130, and the Nuggets are favored at 160 for the series, not for like the conference or anything, but for the series. So that's where it's at now. But go ahead with the Thunder there, Hunter. What have you been seeing in that?
Fair. So this is what I'll say about the Thunder. I mean, I think these two teams have just been really good. I think the Mavs are primed to make a run right now, and the Thunder have they finally got all their draft picks in line and got some really good players out there, and they're just really falling in line together all in year one for a lot of these guys, and they wanted a crazy run to get to the 1 seed in the West, and now they take on the Mavs, and I kind of thought that maybe the Mavs would be too much, and Kyrie and Luka would be too much, and even guys like PJ Washington has been really killing us. A name that I didn't think would be, that big of a part for Dallas, and he's just been killing us. And then last night they play, and the Mavs they're up a lot early. The Thunder fight. They're down I think they were down about around 10 points at halftime. Pretty much, it felt like they were down around that the whole game, and they ended up fighting. I had to watch the highlights this morning. Those 9:30 tip-offs kill me, man. I can't. I can't.
The
stay
Western
up most
Conference,
days
it's brutal.
On weekdays. Yeah, those 9:30 tip-offs kill me. So I woke up this morning all frantic, looking for my phone. When's the score? And then I looked and I was like, yeah! And I'm all over here 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah!
Yeah, that's that
was a big win. I think that keeps it a series. I think that the Thunder lose another game at home. It's 3-1 going back to Dallas. That's I think about it, sayonara as it can get for them.
Yeah, the Western games are a little brutal, and I love Anthony Edwards, which is why I stay up for the Nuggets and Timberwolves. I do like Luka and Kyrie, but I don't know. It's not as it's funny because the Timberwolves the last 2 games have not been electric, but I watch them because I feel like they have the more potential to be electric as opposed to the Mavs and the Thunder.
The Thunder and Mavs have been better games.
Yeah, so but I feel like
you would think it'd be the.
I'm about to switch it over, and if I switch it over, yeah, it'd be boring as hell. The other teams that are tied 2-2 over in the Eastern Conference, the Knicks and the Pacers. The Pacers went off, and I know Brunson went out, and it's about time. The Knicks are feeling it finally, trying to carry them starters, trying to carry the whole team. Brunson's getting hurt. Everybody's getting hurt on that team.
Yes.
And I got to backtrack again to the Lex. The Mavs are actually a plus 120 to win that series, and the Thunder are minus 148. I got to start remembering at the end of that team that we talk about that. I got to give you guys. That's for the series to finish out the series right now. That's a really even series there. There's only one high. There's only one high difference in the series, which is the last game the last series we're going to be talking about because it's just one-sided. But the Knicks and the Pacers. Yeah. The Pacers are finally using some of that high octane movement offense, and the Knicks are they're getting beat up. Brunson's beat up, and I don't know what kind of steroids or what kind of drugs they're giving him in the back after he gets injured to come out and still blow it up. But yeah, I think the Knicks. I don't know if the Knicks can hang in there anymore. They're just too beat up, and it's 2-2, and we're gonna get a game that goes back to New York here soon. So I mean, can the Pacers hang in there? Can the Knicks play beat up? I mean, that's a 30-point game. 89-121 was game 4. I don't.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. What do you think about the Knicks?
The Knicks are doing it right now. They're doing it right now. 31-25.
So the thing with the Knicks though is that they've been front running, and then they lose it around mid third quarter.
Fair.
So
yes, okay, I could see that.
Yes, I don't know. We'll see. But hey, if they're winning, they're winning. I mean, all they do is they got to win 2 more. But
I like the Pacers, but this series is back and forth. I really feel like this is probably a 7-game series, but whoever wins this, I mean, game 5s are always pivotal in most series, but especially at 2-2, this game 5 couldn't mean more. And obviously, like you just said, they usually start out good, and the Knicks are out good. They're up 6 points as the first quarter comes to a close, but they got to be able to hold on to that, and they haven't been able to. And like you said, these guys are playing banged up, and Brunson's playing, but he's playing hurt, and these guys are. This is a brutal playoff series, and I think it may just come down to who can stay the healthiest for the longest in this series. But this game, if the Knicks can find a way to win this game at home, that's huge.
Yeah, and the Pacers are favored right now to win the series at a plus 144, and the Knicks are underdogs at a, let's say minus 144, and the Knicks are plus 118. So that's what we're looking at as far as that series goes. Now, the biggest difference in between teams is Boston and the Cavs. No Donovan Mitchell. He was out last game. I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but the Cavs still kept it really close. See, this is the thing. The Cavs are really battling. 102 to 109. Boston wins, and they're ahead 3-1 in the series. Problem is I look at the numbers. Boston is a plus 10,000 or is a minus 10,000 to win this series, and the Cavs are a plus 8,000 to win. That's 18,000 point difference.
That's insane. I mean, I'm not surprised, especially Mitchell playing hurt. Guys like Garland, Allen's been hurt for them as well. Just a lot of banged up guys for the Cavs. But I actually, in the middle of the game, it's about a 5 or 6 point game. Middle of that last game, I put $5 on the Cavs at plus 700 odds to make $40 if they would have won. And I mean, they come within what, 5 or 6 points? Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like $5 to win 40. I was like, all right, let's see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, it's probably all she wrote for the Cavs. I mean, they're going to lose this series.
Yeah.
Even if they win 2 more games, are they going to win 3 in a row? Probably not.
Right.
So it's going to be Boston.
Thinking they can get 3 off Boston in a row now, especially Donovan Mitchell. Like we said, we don't know. You would think it's just a Cavs strain. He'd probably be able to come back for this next game. You would hope, but it's also been really looming throughout the season that he probably won't be back with Cleveland. So he could also just be trying to think about himself and maybe a future team.
Maybe, but he doesn't put up those points the last series to try to advance in the playoffs if that's the case. I think whatever's going on, he's seriously hurt and can't play because I think he'd be out there the way that he's been fighting for this team. That's just my opinion. I don't know for sure. We don't know. Or you could be right. After maybe if Cleveland wins that game, and it ties it up 2-2, maybe then he tries to fight to come back. But because it's 3-1, maybe you're right. He just kind of sits back and waits. But,
right.
We talked about it last week as far as the finals and the conference odds when it comes to winning it. And we talked about the Nuggets dropping all the way down. And now the Nuggets are all the way back up the top in the Western Conference at a plus 140. Thunder have moved to a 260, and the Wolves went down from a minus to a plus 310. So, I mean, just the 2 games that they've had that are bad have changed the odds up. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
I'm still in favor of the Wolves, and it might even be better now that they're... I mean, maybe Anthony Edwards is a gambling man, and he wanted to, boost those odds a little bit. And that way, maybe Kurt called. Maybe all the listeners called and said, look, Anthony Edwards, we need you to bomb the next 2 games so we can raise these odds because we know that you're going to win this whole thing. So that's how... that's what we're going to do.
That's how they play that out?
Yeah, that's how that played out. But you got the Nuggets and the Thunder and then the Wolves. And then Dallas is a plus 470. Boston is far and above everyone else at a minus 650 to win the East. And the Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
The Knicks are a plus 900. That's the difference in the Eastern Conference right now. Pacers are a plus 950. The Cavs are a plus 33,000. Not 3,300, 33,000 to win the East.
They'd have to come back from a 3-1 deficit. And then
I understand the odds, but maybe I put a nickel on that and to win like $300.
Right. Put a dime on it for. Yeah.
And for the finals, Boston, again, is ahead of everyone at a minus 140. Nuggets moved up to a plus 350. Thunder moved to a plus 800. Minnesota's right underneath them at a 850. Then the Mavs are at... They're just not giving any love to the Mavs, which is weird to me. I don't know why they're not giving any love to the Mavs, but they're a plus 1,300. And the Knicks are a plus 3,200. Wow. The Cavs aren't even on the book to win the finals at all.
Wow.
So
they said, you guys come back from this 3-1, you can go back on the book.
Yeah. So I don't know. If I had to pick, I still would now I would hit that 850 for Minnesota still. It was at 400 last week. So I'd hit that 850. I mean, if I had a betting man, the value is there. There's no value in the Nuggets because they're so hot and cold. But I think there's value in Minnesota because they're such a big underdog that there's value in winning that pick. Even if you put $10 down, you're looking at winning 85. That's a big discrepancy in money. If you put down, if you got $100 to kill, dude, you're looking at making almost $1,000 on a $100 bet. So, and then if you're going to do that, you might as well hit them with the West too. And, get 260 off of that. And then honestly, that puts you at an even over $1,000. So putting 200 on or 100 on both. So, that's value. I mean, when we're talking about gambling, we got to look at value. Sure. Yeah. We can do these. I hate it when see all these gambling sites and sometimes these sports book bettors on social media will go, all right, here's my parlay. And it's a bunch of easy fucking picks to put down like $10 and win like 40 and go, oh, look, we hit on all these. Well, yeah, your odds are like plus 400. You know what I mean? Like, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I had to also put in 120 fucking bets and have them all hit.
Yep.
So, it just depends on how, what you want to look at and what you want to wait for. Yeah, money's money and I get it, but I mean, I want value. I want quality, I guess, over quantity. I guess that's my philosophy when it comes to betting. But then again, I'm just a guy with a podcast. I'm nobody in particular to to listen to.
It's time for Hunter's Hockey Hits on the Shekel Up Podcast, brought to you by Hunter Keister.
All right, we have violence, and more violence in the NHL, especially when it comes to the Bruins game, man. Them Bruins and the Panthers are really going at it. I see some fist flying, some skates getting thrown at each other. Not really. I'm kidding on that part. But let's go over to Hunter and talk Hunter's Hockey Hits because we got playoffs, baby.
Yes, that series has been incredible. Back and forth, brawls, beatdowns on both sides, and just a really good series. Boston getting through that 7-game series with Toronto and Florida getting rid of the Tampa Bay Lightning pretty easily. And now that series is back and forth with the Panthers up 2-1 in the series, but Boston up 2-1 midway through period 2 in Florida tonight as they look to make it a 2-2 series tie and head back to Boston for will that be game 5? Yeah, game 5.
Yeah, bro, it's actually a 1-3 series.
Oh my god, it's 3-1.
It's
3-1. Holy shit.
Whoa!
Oh my, I was looking at something wrong. Holy. Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot
Hunter
about
doesn't
that.
know hockey.
I forgot about that.
Hunter doesn't know hockey.
That
Hunter
was
doesn't
funny.
know hockey.
Well, they just lost at home again. I just forgot. Yeah. That's pretty good.
This stinks! Fucking right in the pussy.
That was all the hockey fans of Hunter.
I love it, dude. 3-1. There it is. I'm looking at it on my screen. That's crazy. They just.
I was confused. I'm like, did I write down the wrong stuff? What did I miss?
Nope. 2-1. Boston. Trying to stay alive though. So this is really, really big.
Yeah, so even if they stay alive, let me ask you this. Even if they stay alive, I mean, do they got a chance to win the next game? I mean, can they do 2 in a row? And keep staying alive there?
Could they? That's what because it's really, these games haven't been close. They've been beat downs both ways. Yeah. So it's like, can they do it? Yeah. Will they do it? I don't know.
Oh, because let's face it, Bruins need to win 3 more, and the Panthers only have to win 1. So.
Yeah. So it's like when I think about it like that, could they get this one, maybe. Could they get the next one? Maybe. Anything more than that?
So let me also ask you this: what is? Because I've watched some games, and that game in particular seems to be the most violent one. Is there a history between these teams or something that I haven't seen or don't know about to where they like just absolutely fucking hate each other? Because it seems like they fucking hate each other because they are throwing fists.
Yeah.
They are throwing like. I mean, am I wrong? Am I just seeing it because I'm seeing it and it's happening with all the games, or is there something there where the Bruins are actually they're going at the Panthers and the Panthers are really going at the Bruins?
All right, so these guys are Eastern Conference Athletic Division foes, so they play in the same division, so they know each other pretty well. And the way I would look at it, besides being division rivals, is just they're pretty much the cream of the crop in the Eastern Conference, and they know that. They're both the best. They're both the biggest. Florida on the come up. Boston, an original six team, been around forever. Big physical team, been like that forever. And they're just powerhouses now in the Eastern Conference. And with them especially being in the same division, I'm not surprised this game have turned out this way because these guys got a lot of guys that are big, mean, and want to prove just that. And usually it ends in a fist fight with these two teams. A lot of times coming to blows after the play. A lot of just extracurricular activity going on in these games and all the playoff games. Honestly.
Okay. All right. Well, continue. I mean, we got the Canes taking it out on the Rangers, man. 4-1 the last game.
Okay. Oh no. The Canes, so the Hurricanes and Rangers played. That was last night, and that was 4-3. Carolina gets a win to stay alive.
Oh, wow. I guess I don't know hockey.
No,
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, boom me again.
Oh, we're booing Hunter. Hold on. We're booing Hunter?
Yeah. Boom me again.
Let's boo Hunter again.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Fucking right in the pussy.
All right. So you're saying I was right. The game was 4-1.
I have all these tabs. I have all these like dates together with the series, and I keep looking back. When I mean to go back one day, I go back two. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at previous games. So you were right.
So you know what works, Hunter? I'm going to show you something. For the people on the YouTube, when they see this, Hunter, look at this. That is actually written down stats and information and stuff for current. That way I have it in front of me written down. The digital stuff just doesn't work for me.
But my handwriting's so bad. I should use, you know what I should use? It's notepad. I should use a notepad because my handwriting's so ass. You're right. You're right, though. You are right.
No,
yes,
it's all it is Cliff Notes. So really, it just helps me kind of hit on things, little basic things, and then I already have the current information like about the game and some of the things that I know on it.
Yeah,
so
no, you're right. So you're not going back one day and then 2 days and then think you went back one day and then go back 3 days and then look at the series wrong, and
so
here we are.
So let me help out Hunter. The Canes are down 2-3 to the Rangers when it comes to the series, and the Canes won last game 4-1. So yeah, is that a why such a discrepancy between the Canes and the Rangers there, Hunter? The Rangers just have a bad game, or is that the Canes finally stepping up?
I'm very see. All right, so going back to the game that I was talking about, 4-3 Hurricanes. I mean, I thought the Rangers had them dead to rights, 3-0. They were dominant 3-0 games. And, I think this might have just been, especially looking at the score, when you're able to win a high-scoring physical game in the playoffs, 4-3, you come back, you get a little bit of life. You're not down 3-0 anymore. You got a win on your belt in the series. Now they come out, and they go on the road after that big emotional win at home. They go out on the road, which, the Madison Square Garden. The Rangers have been a really good road team as well as the whole home team this year. President's Trophy winning team, I'm pretty sure. Best record in the NHL, I'm pretty sure. Could be off on that too. Who knows? If that's the case, that just shows even more. I think that the Rangers just, they had him dead to rights. They needed to put him to bed when they had the chance, and now just like that, boom, boom, back to back. You're looking at 3-2. You're looking going back to Carolina where the Hurricanes. That place rocks. Regular season, playoffs. Those Hurricanes fans are crazy, and I think this series is almost certainly now headed for Game 7.
So let me ask you this: do you think that they can pull it off? Like, because they still have to win two straight games, one at home, which they probably can do, like you said. But can they go back to New York and close it out? I don't know about that. And honestly, the Eastern Conference odds kind of say that. And I'll run it down a little bit. Florida is a plus 100 to win the East. New York is plus 185. And then it drops down to the Canes at plus 460. So Vegas doesn't think so when it comes to that.
No. And I think that you got to look at this, right? So they lose the game 4-3. That's in Carolina, right? So you're talking about a 4-1 loss at home. That's your second straight loss. You lose this game in Game 6. That's another loss. That's on the road at least, but that's now 3 losses in a row for the one seed in the conference and probably if not the best team in the NHL. That's 3 losses in a row. Are they going to make it 4 and lose at home in Game 7?
You would have to call that an epic collapse, wouldn't you?
I mean, I would call that one of the most epic collapses in NHL playoff history, especially looking at those 3 games, how dominating they were, and then you, like I said, you slip up with the 4-3 game, and then you get they just come and they outman you 4-1 at home, and then if you would give up a Game 6 on the road and then come back home, choke on the line, everything, all the pressure's on you now at home. Game 7 and you lose again?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's what I mean. Like, I've been talking with some of my buddies, and this is just a line that you'll hear when you talk about playoff hockey. It's just different. Playoff hockey is just different. Like, stuff just be happening, and series be blinding together, and a lot of good hockey games, a lot of good series.
You said being dominated, and a team that's getting dominated right now is Colorado. They're down 3-1 in the series, and the last game Dallas wins 5-1. And now Dallas has moved up the rankings a little bit in the West, and when it comes to the Stanley Cup, I mean, the Stars are now minus 140 to actually win the whole Western Conference, and they got the best odds to win the Stanley Cup at plus 220. And I know it was the Oilers for a while, but before we get to the Canucks and Oilers, I mean, Dallas is going to close this thing out, right? I mean, it just seems like Colorado doesn't have a chance. They've just been getting beat down this entire series.
Yeah, I mean, they're down 3-1 right now. They've now lost 2 games. 5-1, last night's game. 4-1 the game previous. 5-1 they lose at home as well. So they now have to go out to an elimination game to the Dallas Stars Arena, where that crowd is going to be bonkers. I mean, the Dallas crowd's got to be going crazy right now, having the Mavs and the Stars. If you live in downtown Dallas right now, wow. Some incredible action going on a nightly basis down there. But just thinking about that, I mean, 3-1, I think that Colorado could shock some people and stay alive in Dallas, but that's another case of you're already down 3-1. Like, could you get another win? Maybe. Are you going to get 2 to force Game 7? That's an even longer shot. Are you going to win 3 in a row to get get the whole comeback in Game 7? I'm going to say probably not. Not with the team that you have. Not with your best. This is another side note that just came out last night. Their best point, he's a defenseman. Their best point getter, he had 9 points in the playoffs. Nichushkin, he gets hit with a stage 3 player assistance, like penalty or something. He's suspended for 6 months. The full details haven't really came out, at least that I've seen, because this came out last night, so it would have had to come out today. But from what I've seen last night, it had to do with something with partying, and he is now suspended for 6 months without pay. And this is Colorado's one of their best defensemen, one of their best scorers, and down 3-1, a blow like that, 2 straight blowout losses. You know, do you hear this formula? It's not adding up. You know, I'm adding this up, and the formula's not adding up for Colorado. It's just not. So, I think Dallas, I'm not surprised that their odds have went up. Them really taking it to the Avalanche. Really nobody gave them a chance to start this series out. And they've flipped that on its head, and now the odds reflect that.
Last game here, Canucks and Oilers. Oilers were the favorite for a while, and they're down 2-1 in this series. I mean, the Canucks are kind of giving it to the Oilers a little bit. It's a close game last game, 4-3. But really, we talked about it the last few weeks, how the Oilers been favored in a lot of the Western Conference, and they were second for a while to the Hurricanes to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I feel like Edmonton's always an overrated team. And I'll say, I mean, they got good guys like Draisaitl and Connor McDavid's one of my favorite players to watch. But with those guys comes those really high expectations, especially because everybody wants to believe somebody from Canada will break that 30-year-plus streak of not winning a Stanley Cup, which I don't see happening for God knows how long, honestly. But Edmonton always end up, at some point in the season, getting their stock pretty high, and it's well-deserved. But a 1-1 series split after you leave Vancouver and go to Edmonton for Game 3, and you lose that game 4-3. 4-3 at home. I mean, that just sucks the soul out of you. After you split one, you get home ice, and then you lose the first game you get home. Now all you can do to salvage the night tonight would be tying the series back up. But I feel like all the pressure's on Edmonton. Vancouver's going to come out already doing their job, knowing they just wanted to get one on the road. And I could see them possibly even getting a second one against an Edmonton team that's probably going to play tight, that's going to play really nervous, knowing they cannot afford to go down 3-1 and go back to Vancouver.
Let's give Hunter a round of applause for getting the information correct this time around.
I'll get it right eventually, guys. I just need a couple tries sometimes. I'll get it right eventually, okay?
So we did talk a little bit about some teams in the futures, and in the Western, it's the Stars, Oilers, and the Canucks, and they're at a -140. Oilers are at 290, and the Canucks are 440. So Oilers are still up there for the West, but obviously Dallas is far and above either team. And then Florida is a +270, and then right above them is the Stars at a +220. So the Rangers, and it's funny, Florida is above the Rangers when it comes to the Stanley Cup odds, which is crazy to me. New York is a +500. I just said Florida was a +270. That's a little nuts. But yet they're down.
You said, wait, who's down?
Oh, no, I'm thinking of the wrong game. That's my bad. Okay, so this is what I get for not reading my own paper, right? And this is the bad part about it.
This guy stinks! Fucking right in the pussy!
For some reason, I was thinking the Canes were ahead. The Canes aren't even on the books.
Right.
For this. If they are, it's like +1,300 or something just way down the list.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so...
Well, they probably weren't on the books until these last couple games, coming back in the series. They were probably dead to rights to everybody.
Yeah.
When they were down 3-0.
But I do update the odds when it comes to the futures right before we get on the podcast. So Tuesday at 8 o'clock, this is where it was.
Yeah.
Where it will be on Thursday when this episode airs, I have no idea. But I do want to talk to you about something, Hunter, because we both love this team. You love the sport more than I do, but I love the team because it's from our area. The Walleye are in the conference finals, and game 1 is Friday, May 17th. That's what I'm saying, because this is where the Walleye choke. This is where they choke. And
every year.
Every year.
Single year.
But they also haven't
I'm
dominated.
I'm a passionate Walleye fan over here.
Yeah. Well, they haven't dominated. Honestly, they haven't dominated in the playoffs like they have this year in a long time.
Oh man, yeah, this team is good. This Walleye team. I mean, they've had some decent teams since they switched over from the Stormer to the Walleye, but I don't think they've had a better chance because the year that they made it, even I'm pretty sure they made the Cup Finals a few years previous, and if I remember correctly, they were just really outmatched and got pretty much destroyed in that series. And I think, I mean, this year they're putting up goals like it's no tomorrow. Their offense has been really good. They've got solid goaltending.
You would think Detroit would be a better team.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely getting up there, and you can see some of the guys from the Walleye starting to come into their organization, which is really cool to see because that wasn't a great farm system and a good farm team for that many years. So it's cool to see the Walleye doing this good and some of them being up with the Red Wings. But as for the Walleye, yeah, I think that this is a big series. Unfortunately, due to they had to redo like the alignment of the series because the away team's building is like going under something. So it's like 3 games at home for the Walleye, and then the next 4 are on the road.
That's kind of
dumb.
It's
a really weird split. Yeah, they do a different split than the NHL already, but then now because of whatever's going on,
I don't understand that
really
either.
Weird.
It should be across the board. It should be the same. 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1.
I think that makes the most. When I heard that it was anything different, because I didn't realize that it was until I started paying more attention with the Roanoke team that's in the SPHL, which is just like the ECHL, and then the Walleye with the ECHL. I didn't realize how different the game formats were and the home and away series were, and it's mind-boggling to me. Like, why wouldn't you just follow the NHL's 2-2, 1-1-1? Because that makes the most sense. I mean, I feel like it's the most fair. Give the game 7 to the higher seed. Like, now you're just like, of course you can let the Walleye go up 3-0, but like, what if they can't play on the road and they lose 4 straight? Like, they got punished.
Right. Yep, and then they got no rebound back home. They're so far and away. It sucks. Well, it sucks when it comes to the format, but hopefully they won't need it. Hopefully they'll only have to pull 1 out. We talked about them being a dominant team, but we will see. So good luck to the Walleye. By the time we air, those 3 games will be over, and we'll know for sure. So you heard Hunter. If you're here in Toledo and you want to go to a playoff game before the actual Kelly Cup Finals, if the Walleye make it, you're only going to get these first 3. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, folks, go check them out. Go grab your tickets because it's definitely going to be a party up in T-Town. All right. Now let's move on to the better sport of all the sports that we talk about, football. Not football, football. And we got the Premier Parlay of the week, and it is championship weekend, guys. It is the last week of the Premier League, which means it is the last Premier Parlay of the week, but that doesn't mean the Premier Parlays will stop. But let's go ahead over to it. We got a lot of teams to cover here. So first, we're going to go get Arsenal at a minus 650. Then Chelsea at a minus 210. Then you're going to click Man City at 1150, minus 1150. Tottenham, minus 270. Liverpool at a minus 190. Then you're going to go over to the Champions League, where Real Madrid is going to win this thing at a minus 334. Then we're going to head over to La Liga, and we're going to get Barcelona at minus 280, and then Atletico at minus 240. Then Real Madrid at a minus 120. You're going to wrap that in a bow, and you're going to get a plus 750, folks. Plus 750. And I'm telling you, these are not missing teams. These are going to hit. I'm telling you. They're going to hit. You're going to win yourself some cash. And you're going to wrap that in a bow and you're going to put it down, baby. Now, speaking of what I just said, it is championship weekend. So, Hunter, you need to watch the last weekend of soccer, man. All right? I've been hitting you and Kurt. And Man City, I have been screaming Man City is going to win this thing. It is a very close race between Man City and Arsenal. Man City just beat Tottenham. I think that's how the hell you say it. Yeah, Tottenham. And moved up 88 points to Arsenal's 86 points. They both have a game this weekend because every Premier League team plays this weekend. And if Arsenal wins with a City loss or tie, Arsenal will break a 20-year drought and become Premier League champions.
Oh.
Okay? Because they'll get the 3 points. Arsenal has to win to get the 3 points. But if Man City loses or they tie, they only get 1 point. So that means Arsenal will jump up if they win to 89 points, and Man City will move up, even if they tie, will move up 87 points or get no points for losing. But Man City, to lock this thing up, for the first time in Premier League history, there'll be a 4-time Premier League champion if they win against West Hampton. West Ham.
Oh,
and I just told you the odds for that game. Do we remember the odds, folks? Minus 1150. 1,150.
Oh, man. If they mess this up.
It would be an epic choke job on Man City's part.
I was going to say that's going to be a collapse if they lose. I want to know. You don't got the plus. Do you got the plus on there? I want to know. They're probably like a +9.
For what?
Plus 900.
For what?
West Ham in that game.
The plus money or the plus points. So before that, though, let's go. Man City, if they win, they'll be at 91 points, and if Arsenal wins, they'll be at 89 points, and it'll just be a 2-point difference between first and second place in the Championship League, which is one of the closest races that it's been. And it's sad. It was almost between 3 teams, but Liverpool, for some reason, just couldn't pull it out, and they're like at 76 points. So they kind of just lost it towards the end there and really kind of just fell apart. Liverpool is a pretty good team for the most part. I really got no bad things to say about Liverpool. But as Hunter asked, what they
West Ham
plus 1800. I got plus 1900 on the books on FanDuel, so it's even higher over there.
If you think Man City might have the worst choke job in all of sports, put a little money down on West Ham.
Well, so it's either going to be that or it's going to be who do we just talk about the epic collapse being? The Rangers. It's going to be if that happens. If the Rangers lose their series, it'll be tied up there if Man City chokes this game away with where the plus and minus money are.
Right.
So that should be really fun to watch. Hunter, like I said, I would catch some games, especially the Arsenal game. The Arsenal game and Man City game, check that out if you're not doing anything Sunday. And you can pretty much say congratulations to Real Madrid for winning the Champions League. They're going to smoke that team. It's a team I don't even know, to be honest with you. And it is what it is. But I don't hate it. But go ahead and check that Premier League parlay picks of the week there, folks. Like I said, that'll probably be the last one for the Premier League. Doesn't mean soccer will totally end, and it doesn't mean that the parlays are going to end. It just means soccer is going to end. And that'll be sad because it's been a really fun year because usually with the Premier League, you get a team that's far ahead and above everyone else. So it's kind of like, who's going to win probably 3/4 of the way in the season. And this year it was really a tie. I mean, we had talked about it for weeks since I started doing the Premier Parlay pick. Like 3 teams within a point or 3 points of each other. It was crazy. That hasn't happened in a really long time, and that just makes it so much better when kind of like how the NBA playoffs now are kind of all evened up. It just makes sports so much more entertaining. That's how I like it. So Hunter, hopefully you tuned in. And if you tuned in and enjoyed this episode of the Shekel Up Podcast, please go like and subscribe to our podcast on all podcast platforms. Also, please head over to the social media at Shekel Up Podcast on all of the social platforms and comment, interact, share it, love it, like it, Join us in conversations. You got questions, hit us up over there. Go over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. It helps others find the podcast, and we enjoy reading them. And if you have any cares, questions, or concerns, email us at shekelappodcast@gmail.com. You can't find K-Mac on this episode, but usually you can find K-Mac and Hunter at Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast on everything social media there. They got Facebook, Twitter, the TikTok. And then go over to Twitter and follow myself at AnnieUpAnthony. You can follow Hunter at Hunter_Keister4 and K-Mac at K_Mac7. Thank you guys for listening. And remember, everyone, do not bet your mortgage